halfway through early 2021 and we haven't heard anything. Is this going to be another unfulfilled promise? Has everything I've come to believe about Shin Megami Tensei 5 become a lie? Why am I asking myself these questions? Atlus promised us early 2021, and why are we being kept in the dark? These are questions you guys are probably thinking, right? Or, you could just get extremely salty too. There's just that as well. Hey guys, I'm Resident Unleashed, and I've been thinking similar things to this, so today we're gonna revisit why there hasn't really been much said about Shin Megami Tensei 5. Oh, and by the way, keep in mind that I used to work in video game development, so a lot of my analysis will be based off of that. It's been over 4 years since Atlus were thrown under the bus by Nintendo. And what do I mean thrown under the bus? Well, it's best to say that Nintendo wanted Atlus to present something for the launch of the Switch, and Atlus's plans were to eventually make Shin Megami Tensei 5 on it, but at the time it probably hadn't even started full development yet. That left us, the fans, with a sour taste in our mouths, because that and one other trailer was all we got for a few good years. Switch over to last year where we got another trailer, a release period, and news of a Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne HD remaster, and faith had been restored. But only for a short period of time, as we haven't gotten anything since. Shin Megami Tensei 5 is supposed to come out soon, and we have no knowledge at the time of this video's making of an actual date. I was hoping that the last Nintendo Direct would reveal the release date for Shin Megami Tensei 5, but Atlus remains silent about it for the moment. The question we all have is, well, why? Why don't we have an expansion on early 2021? Well, I do have some answers for you all about this, and some of them I've mentioned in my other video about Shin Megami Tensei 5's release, but I feel like I need to mention them again, so I'm going to. So Atlus has set themselves a huge goal for Shin Megami Tensei 5. They either want this game to do as well as or outperform Persona 5. This is a big feat for them to do, because they didn't expect Persona 5 to be the worldwide phenomenon that it became. Now, the reason for this, I believe, is because Shin Megami Tensei is the parent franchise to Persona. Atlus wants more exposure for the rest of their franchise, thus feeling the need for the game to be just as good, if not better, than Persona 5. So they've already got their hands pretty full from the start, but it only starts to go more and more downhill. They're using a completely new engine, which is Unreal Engine 4. While there are manuals and tutorials for this engine, it's still pretty new to most of their employees, right? So they have to take the time to learn it. Before this, they basically have only used in-house engines for their games that they have developed themselves. Now, you might be thinking that people who have worked in the other engines could help, but I'm fairly sure they're part of Studio Zero, who is working on Project Re-Fantasy, or Peace Studio, who are the developers for Persona. Thus, the Shin Megami Tensei team were kind of diving into completely new territory, almost blind, so that only would make things longer, and might even still be making everything take more time. The last point I'll talk about, which I covered in my last video, is that they are still kind of developing for a new platform for them. I can't iterate enough how Peace Studio and the Shin Megami Tensei team would be comprised of different people. So even though, yes, Persona 5 Strikers released on Switch, that doesn't really affect how easy it is for them to make SMT5 on Switch. I can also say that Peace Studio had the help of Koei Tecmo, who have released multiple games on the Switch too. The Switch is actually currently the hardest hardware to develop due to a lot of factors that I really don't want to get into in this video. So I'll just say the biggest one is switching between docked and handheld. So we're done talking about the problematic Switch, we can move on to the new topics now. So the new things that would be causing Shin Megami Tensei 5 to be brought to a halt are two pretty large things. The first thing is the promise of a simultaneous worldwide release. I think Atlus were a bit over their head when they promised this. If you look at the track record of Atlus's titles released in the West, they usually release about a year after the games come out in Japan. This is usually because the localization of the games take quite a while. Now, I have no idea what period of time Shin Megami Tensei 5 was sent to Atlus West. It could have been sent during development, and the localization could be happening simultaneously. However, that would mean that the base game is still in development and it might not even be finished yet. I don't even know how hard it would be for Atlus themselves back in Japan to deal with the localization and developing the game at the same time, just because they don't typically do this. So the fact that they went and promised a worldwide release on the same day everywhere has made it even harder for them to keep their promise. Speaking of promises, we are also promised a HD remaster of Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne. The problem with this game is who at Atlus is developing this? Can't be Peace Studio, they focus on Persona. Can't be Studio Zero, right? Aren't they making Project ReFantasy? So who could it be? Well, for now we have to assume that some of the people who are working on Shin Megami Tensei 5 are also developing the Nocturne HD remaster. We can either assume two things from that. Either 5 is finished and they moved on to Nocturne, and we're waiting for Atlus USA to finish the localization of the game, which is the one I want to believe honestly, or that Atlus wanted to hype up and promised us a HD remaster of Nocturne to make up for the wait of Shin Megami Tensei 5. If the second one is true, mate Atlus, you didn't have to. We all want and crave Shin Megami Tensei 5. It's okay that it's taking a while. Please don't make it any longer than it needs to be. I mean, honestly, take your time. Like, I just want this game to be good. At least, that's how I feel about it anyway. The fact that Shin Megami Tensei's 5 release date is still not fully known at the time of this video's release makes me a little bit sad. I just remember back in mid-2018 buying a Switch because I was hopeful of the game coming out soon enough for my purchase to be worth it. I wonder how many people did the same thing and bought a console in preparation of Shin Megami Tensei 5, only to be still waiting. Now, I don't blame Atlus at all for this game still being in development, especially having experience from developing games myself. But I mean, as a fan, I'm just like, please? But you know, yeah, whatever. That was my little talk on why we don't have a solid date for Shin Megami Tensei 5. Don't lose hope though, guys. I'm sure it will come out sometime this year. What do you guys think about my analysis? Let me know in the comments down below, and don't forget to leave a like on the video and subscribe to help out my channel. With that all being said and done, my name is Resin Unleashed, a resident who is extremely tired and is going to continue drawing Kazuichi Soda from Danganronpa 2 getting hit by everyone's favorite isekai character, Truck-kun, and unleashing them onto my wall for me to see. And I'll catch you all next time.